Well, it's me again, here to talk about more stuff I saw on the CBN News. Um, the first one I want to talk about, they're both about the same thing. They're both about the caliphate. So, the first one is from Stackleback on Terror. I don't know if any of you watched that or not. It says, would Muslims accept Iran as the leader of a new caliphate? It says, over the past few months I've been talking an awful lot about the possibility of a renewed Islamic caliphate and Iran's desire to lead it. This past weekend, I believe the Muslim world took a few major steps toward making this united Islamic superstate a reality. Which brings up an interesting point. The nations that would belong to the caliphate are predominantly Sunni Muslim, yet Iran sees the so-called Arab Spring as a divine signal from Allah that the caliphate to be led by Iran is on the horizon and that the Mahdi is near, is overwhelmingly Shia. The Iranian regime is unperturbed by this fact and has repeatedly called on all Muslims, Sunni and Shiite, to set aside their differences, unite and take on Israel in the West. But how would the Ummah feel about being led by a Persian Shia power? Given the historic animosity between Arab and Persian, Sunni and Shiite, now if I was your typical Beltway thinker, I would say that's impossible. Sunni and Shia could never work together. The hatred runs too deep. Thankfully, while I may work inside the Beltway, I am not of the Beltway. I realize full well that, as Iran expert Ken Timmerman often points out, when it comes to killing Christians and Jews, Sunni and Shia get along just fine. Or in other words, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. The evidence to support this is overwhelming. Just a few examples of Sunni Shia jihadi energy. Synergy. My gosh. Sorry. It says, investigators believe the Shia Iranian government assisted the Sunni al-Qaeda hijackers prior to the 9/11 attacks, and the operational relationship between AQ and Iran's mullahs continues today. And it goes on to talk more about it. Let's see. There was an interview that he done that should be on here. Yeah, okay. He did an interview online with HTA representative. It says, this is Stackleback. Could a Shia power like Iran ever lead the caliphate? The Iranians have been making a strong push to unite the Muslim world across the Shia and Sunni lines to confront the West and Israel, especially if Iran acquires nuclear weapons. It seems that they would be the strong horse in the region, capable of leading the charge. HTA representative responded, we believe that the Shia sect is a valid Islamic sect and school of thought, just like any other Sunni school of thought. There are many members of HT who belong to the Shia sect. In principle, HT does not object to electing Shia Muslim to the post of Caliph. And the Caliph is the man who leads the caliphate. So, that was pretty much all on that one. But then I read a more in-depth one. This one is titled, Arab Spring Feeding Push for Islamic Caliphate. This is in Istanbul, Turkey. It says, Tunisia's leading Islamist party recently captured most of the votes in the country's first open election in decades. For many, the move was For many, the move was another sign that Islam, not democracy, would continue to dominate the Middle East. Some feel Muslim groups in the region are working harder than ever to reestablish an Islamic caliphate or Islamic state. When Muhammad died 14 centuries ago, the Muslim world needed someone to take the Prophet's place. The caliphate was the leadership of Islam after the death of Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, explained Islamic expert Mashran. Sorry, I've been a little under the weather. It says, the last caliphate was located in Istanbul, Turkey. For 400 years, Istanbul and the Topkapi Palace was political center of the Muslim world. From there, the Turkish sultans ruled the Ottoman Empire as caliphs from 1517 until the empire fell after World War I. But in 1924, the Turkish leader Ataturk abolished the caliphate. Since then, many Muslims have dreamed of its return. The major aim of the caliphate is to rule the world now, and this can be done under the leadership of one caliph, as he himself only can declare a holy war, a jihad, Sharon explained. And it says, some believe that a restored caliphate will precede the Islamic Messiah. While they may disagree on tactics, many modern Islamic groups share the goal of restoring the caliphate. They include the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Hizb ut-Tahrir, and the granddaddy of them all, the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood was set up in 1928, 4 years after the disbanding of the Muslim Caliphate by Ataturk, said Kenneth Timmerman, president of the Foundation for Democracy in Iran. And their specific mission was to restore the caliphate just 4 years later. They've been pursuing that mission ever since. He continued, their goal remains to set up one world Islamic government. One world Islamic government. So you know what that means for the Christians and the Jews. It means we'll just be executed. The Brotherhood is now has a foothold in Egypt, where after the fall of the Mubarak government, it became the country's most organized political party. What the Muslim Brotherhood would like to see is a strong, powerful Islamic government armed with nuclear weapons, Timmerman added. Whether those are supplied by Pakistan or Iran doesn't matter, and they would be gradually eliminating Christian and Jewish influence, Christian and Jewish governments, he said. Another potential power player who wants to restore the caliphate in Turkish Prime Minister Recep, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. I think Erdogan clearly sees himself as the founder of the new caliphate, the world Islamic government with Turkey at its center, Timmerman said. I think this is what's behind him offering to send the Turkish Navy, for example, to protect a, quote, peaceful flotilla that would come to Gaza, he said. He says, I'm sure that in his heart that Erdogan is dreaming about the reestablishment of the caliphate, Sharon added. He behaves like it. He can easily push this area into a great war. Because of the threat of world war and rise of Islam, many feel the so-called Arab Spring is a misnomer. And then he said, I wouldn't call it an Arab Spring, Sharon said. It's far from being an Arab Spring. It's the same kind of winter. But seriously, people, you should really think about it. Because one world Islamic government, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's the beginning. I don't know what anybody else believes, but it sounds a little too much like Revelations to me. And this man, he's going to come at us, whoever, when they build it, and they have their caliphate, this caliph that leads it. He's going to come at us like he's all peace and save the world and all this to deceive us. And he will deceive us. He will deceive a lot of us. This will be the man, I believe, that the Bible names as the Antichrist. He will come in promising peace and all this for everybody, and all these people who starving to death in other countries, and all these people who starving to death in our own country, having trouble getting work. They're just gonna fall into it. They're gonna fall into his trap, and they're gonna try to turn. Oh my gosh! They're gonna try to turn everybody Islamic. And you already know they want one world religion anyway. One world religion, one world currency, one world government. Think about it. It's getting time, people. What you really need to stop and ask yourself is this: whose side will I choose? Because I'm telling you, this time next year, everything is going to hit the fan. They're going to be trying to kill people for being Christian and Jewish, or anything other than Islamic. Next thing you know, they'll be making us take the mark. So say your prayers, people, because it's going to be a horrible place for you if you don't turn to Christ. Read your Bible. It's all in there. All of this.
Mama, Jack just puked. He puked.
All of this that's happening
Are you okay, Jay?
right now, and
oh my God.
all of
Mama, not spit.
and all of this that's oh my gosh. Sorry about that. My son just put something in his mouth he wasn't supposed to have and threw up. Had to clean it up. But anyway, think about what I've said in this video. Think about where your heart is and what you believe in before the heads start rolling. It saddens me, but at the same time, I cannot wait to meet Christ. It'll be a glorious day. So, God bless you all. Have a great night. And read your Bible. And get your heart right with God and with Jesus. Thank you.